Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cheese Puffs and Gravy. I'm your host. This is a show where we talk about things, and we talk about more things. And we also have cheese puffs, and we also have gravy. Because y'all love gravy, don't you? I love gravy myself. I love it poured over me like a waterfall. Okay, that's awful. That sounded like a creepy fetish gravy commercial. And that's not where I intended that to go, but that's where it went. So anyway, I'm your host, Cheese Puffs and Gravy. The reason I do these weird voices in the beginning is because I don't have a theme song or a lead-in, so I chose to do that instead. Anyway, the show starts with the ceremonial biting of the cheese puff, which I have a bowl of right here. And here we go. Still delicious, and you know what? Still fresh. I had these things for like 2 weeks. They're still very fresh, which begs the question, how long does it take for a cheese puff to go stale? And when they do go stale, I'm pretty sure they use them as packing peanuts in warehouses. I can't prove that. It's only a theory, but you know what? It kind of makes kind of sense if you think about it. Anyway, today's topic on the show is going to be, once again, Donald Trump, because the man is like a magnet for jokes. He's a cyclone of comedy. They just keep flying and going, and he's just right in the middle of it all. And this week is no different than last week. David Duke, the ex-Grand Wizard of the KKK, recently announced that he is voting for Donald Trump, and he encourages everyone to vote for Donald Trump. And when Donald Trump was notified of this, he seemed confused, like he didn't know who David Duke was. He kind of, I think I heard of him, I'm not sure, it's possible. But, Donald, in the year 2000, you called him a racist and a bigot. So you had to know who he was back then. So did you forget in that little time frame of who David Duke was? And then when he was asked, do you disavow the support of white supremacists, he seemed again confused on what white supremacy was. Now, a man of his stature, how do you not know what white supremacy is? How do you play the dumb card in that situation? You play the dumb card and it makes you look even more dumb. So he had that going for him this week. Then, a few days later, he quotes Mussolini. Some quote that was something like, I'd rather be a lion for a day than a lamb for 100 years. And when the reporter pointed out, hey, you just quoted Mussolini, it didn't even seem to faze Donald Trump. He said, yeah, it's still a good quote and I'm going to stand by it. So by that thinking, no matter who says the quote, you should say it anyway and just go with it. But think about this for a second. Charles Manson said a lot of crazy shit in his life. Some of it made some sense if you look at some of the quotes he's had. Some of it's just batshit crazy. So do you take the good quotes Charles Manson has and do you quote them if you're running for president? No, you don't. You don't quote a madman. It's like you don't quote a fascist dictator in your campaign for president. So quoting someone just because it's a good quote, no matter who said it, is pretty stupid. Then, a couple days later, Louis Farrakhan comes up and also says he's standing behind Trump because of his hatred for Jews. Now, there's another guy you don't want in your corner. It's Farrakhan, who's kind of like a bigot. He hates gays. He hates Jews. He's just a hate monger. So now, in 1 week, you linked your campaign to David Duke, the KKK, Mussolini, and Louis Farrakhan. Wow. That's something you don't want associated with your campaign. But the weird part is, people are still like jumping on the Trump train, as they call it, which is the weirdest name. I hate that name, the Trump train, by the way. It's just so, makes you want to puke. But they're all jumping on anyway. Like this man, is doing all the things that should just kill a campaign, but it's not. It's making it bigger, which is really frightening, to say the least. And here's the real freaky part. I heard someone tell me this. I don't know if it's true or not, but the ghost of Adolf Hitler showed up at a recent press conference. And he said that he loves the ideology of Donald Trump. And if he was a United States citizen, he would definitely vote for him. Now, when Donald Trump was told this, that the ghost of Adolf Hitler is behind you, Donald Trump said, Adolf who? Is he from the West Side? I'm not sure. The name sounds familiar, but I'm not really sure who he is or what he stands for. So once again, he's playing the dumb card. But right before Adolf Hitler jetted back off into the afterlife, he had this to say: to the people in the room. He had he's painfully regrettable for one thing in his life. And he said that is his choice of facial hair, which he said, looking back at old pictures, makes him look like a bit of a dick. Adolf, I got news for you. It wasn't just the facial hair. It's your whole personality. You're a dick. Face it. So then he off to the netherworld he went, and he was gone. So all that happened in 1 week to Donald Trump, which kind of makes you want to look forward to the next week, because what else? What other happy hijinks is Donald Trump going to get into? I mean, the man is... Oh, I almost forgot. In the debate, he brought up his dick. He brought up the size of his dick in the most recent Republican debate. And I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 99% sure that no other candidate in the history of the presidency brought up their dick in a presidential debate. Never happened. I mean, come on. Can you imagine Richard Nixon at the debate saying, vote for me because my dick is magical, and there's nothing better than a magical dick in the White House? I mean, it never happened. It's never happened. You know what, though? If you think about it, maybe Nixon did say that because his nickname was Tricky Dick, if you recall. Well, that's all I have time for today. I'm not going to go on and on and on about somebody's dick. So we're going to end the show with my cheese puff again, because it starts and it ends with the puff. That's how it works here at the Cheese Puffs and Gravy Show. And we have a full cheese puff right here. I'm going to take a bite of this, and this is going to end the show. So symbolically, the biting of the cheese puff ends the program and makes you want more and more and more. So here we go. Once again, it is fantastic and delicious. And you know what? I'm having the other half. You know what? Why not? I'm going to splurge. I can afford it. You have a good day, people. And as always, adios, amigo.